Hi, and welcome to Stamping Fun with Donna. I'm Donna, and today we're going to be using some designer series papers. I'm really excited to show you this and a new technique. So let's go ahead and get started so that I can show you some really fun things to do. Having a designer series paper sale. So a lot of the designer series paper are 15% off. We have a 15% off sale on 15 different designer series papers. Unfortunately, the one we're using today is not one of them. However, you can do this technique with other ones, but I wanted to show you this designer series paper because I think it makes the fastest and cutest cards you can make. And so if you don't have a lot of time, but you have a lot of people you want to send some season's greetings to, you can go ahead and use this designer series paper. So let's head over to the stamp table. This is feels like frost, and you get 40 of these papers. They're 6 by 6 in a package for $15, which means that they cost 31 cents each. They're absolutely beautiful. As you can see, they're sort of photographic, and every one of them, of course, like all of our designer series papers, they are double-sided, so that the other side on every one of these actually has this silver foil and white, and they look absolutely beautiful. So you can see here, they're just some absolutely beautiful papers, most of which are winter, but some of which, like this one, I think you can use for spring. You can use for all sorts of different things. You can use these for season's greeting cards. You can use them for birthdays. You can use them for get well. You can use them for just about anything. This one here is one of my absolute favorites. I think that's an absolutely beautiful picture, and it makes some really gorgeous cards. I'll show you some as we go along. There's 12 different patterns, and you get 4 of each, and they're absolutely beautiful. They go with our in colored colors for 2020 to 2021. And every one of the packages that you get when you have something like designer series papers, it'll tell you what it coordinates with. Of course, as you know, one of the great things about Stampin' Up! Is our color coordination. So here it tells you which colors that it goes with, and those are some of the in colors from 2020 to 2021. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a couple of cards that are what we're going to be making. So this is what we are going to be making. These are called split cards, and they are a really cool technique that looks a lot harder than it actually is. So I will go ahead and show you how to make a split card using these designer series papers, and you can see they're beautiful. Now, I've done these in 3 different ways here. You can do them in so many different ways, and I do have some others at the end to show you. So stick around to the end so you can see some more. This one here, what I did is I did the split card, and then I flipped the paper over, or actually I used a different card to do it, and I'll show you how to do this one so that it has the bottom side of the paper faced up. This one here I just did vertically as well and added a white piece of paper in between, and then I went ahead and stamped directly onto the white piece of paper. And this one here I did horizontally, and I used the same paper in the same way. I just split it and put it on here. So I will go ahead and show you how we can go ahead and get those done. Now, the first one we're going to be doing is this one here. And I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of paper, white paper, cardstock, and just go ahead and fold it in half as usual. Now, you can see I've gone ahead and I've already cut all the sizes already. So I'm not going to give you the sizes here, but I will go ahead and post them on my blog. So all you need to do is go to www.stampingfunwithdonna.com/blog, and you can go ahead and see the sizes at that point. Now, what I'm going to do here is to cut this in such a way that we can do the split card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out my trimmer. Now you'll see this is a very, very old trimmer. I've had this trimmer for must have been close to 20 years or something at this point. It's really old. I've got my new one coming from Stampin' Up, but it hasn't arrived yet. I think it arrives Monday, and I can't wait. When you go ahead and do this, because if you just went ahead and you cut these, then this piece isn't going to flip, right? You're not going to be able to put it there. It's a lot easier if you take whatever you're going to be putting in the inside and you cut them at the same time. If you don't do that, you can cut it by hand, but this is a lot easier if you just cut 2 of them at the same time. So all I'm doing is taking a white piece of paper and putting it behind the piece of paper, and then this white piece of paper is what we are going to be using for the inside of the slice. The piece that, here, let me see if I can pull another one back up so I can show you. This is one of the ones with the white in between. So if I put the white underneath this and cut it at the same time, I know it's the right size and shape. If you don't do that, you can cut it by hand, but this is just easier. So what I'm going to do is, when I went ahead and I cut this, I'm going to tell you this first. When I went ahead and cut this, and I have the piece here that I'm going to place it on, okay? So I cut it so that it's shorter proportionally than up and down. This one's going to be a horizontal card. You can see I left some extra room for it to spread out, because when you spread out, you take up more room. So you need to cut it a little bit shorter on the sides than the top and the bottom for every card that you do. Okay, we want to put on here, and we want to cut it. Now, some people will measure these. I don't think it's necessary to measure them. I just go ahead and just eyeball it and see where I would like it. The first cut, as you can see, I usually do a little bit less steep, and then the second cut more steep. And that allows me to have a wider base than the top, and it makes it more interesting. And then all I do is I just take this and I sort of move it so that you can see there's a triangle there. I'm going to go ahead and cut that, set it aside. Now I'm going to move it over, and then I'm going to widen the base so that it gives a little more interest, and do another cut. Now we end up with 6 pieces. So we have the white here and the pattern on top, the white here and the pattern on top, and the white here and the pattern on top. And I'm going to be using this white piece in the middle, and then I'm going to be putting the others aside. So I'm going to just go ahead and stick these aside, and I will use them for another project. You can always use scraps for projects. Now, I did not cut it short enough for this, so I'm just going to go ahead and take my scissors and go ahead and make it so that it's the same length, because all the pieces need to be the same length. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to put this aside, and now I have all the pieces. I'm going to take this one and put it aside and use it in another project. So now we have all the pieces we're going to need. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my purple base. I'm going to set these aside for just a second, keeping them in order so I know what order they go in. Then I'm going to take this, and using liquid glue, you can use liquid glue, you can use our adhesives, you can use the tape runner, you can use whatever it is you want. I find it easier on this to use the liquid glue because it allows me to make sure it gets in the right spot and move it slightly. So what I'm going to do with this one is to go ahead and put the first one on the left side. Then what I always do next, because I think this is the easiest way to do it, is to do the one on the right hand side. So put some more Tombow green glue on there, and then I'm going to go ahead and place it here, making sure that that is the wrong piece. Let me go ahead. One of the good reasons you use the green glue is that you can just take it off and start again, because this is the piece that I'm supposed to be putting on this side. Okay, so let me go ahead and place glue here. And when you place the pieces aside that you aren't going to be using, you should probably put them a little bit further away than I did. Just there. Okay, so now I'm going to place this one like this, making sure that the top and the bottom are lined up, and then it's lined up on the side. I'm just going to take a little bit off there. Good. Okay, so now I have the white piece, which is going to go in between. And you can see that because I cut it a little bit shorter, there's room to have some of the purple peeking out all around. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the green glue on the back of this one. There we go. And pick this one up and put it right in the middle, making sure that the top and bottom line up and that there's a little bit of purple peeking out on each side. There we go. Okay, so that's the base. That's all there is to it. I told you it looks a lot harder than it actually is. Now I have my white cardstock, and I'm going to go ahead and put the green glue on here, on the back, and adhere it. Let me just get a little bit in that corner. You want to make sure that you get the corners, but you want to make sure that you don't put so much on that it squeegees out on the sides. So if you do that, you can always wipe it off, but it's better if you can avoid doing it to start with. There we go. And now we have our whole card base all put together, and all we need is a sentiment. So I have here my pieces already cut out for my sentiment, and I have my block right here, and I'm going to be using the sentiments from Blossoms and Blooms today. So these have some really great sentiments. They're actually some of my favorites. I love the font. I love the sentiments. I think they just are absolutely beautiful. And today I think we're going to be, for this one, using Get Well Soon. So if I pull this out and I take a look, here's my Get Well Soon. And I go ahead and, this is not the right block. It's not going to be long enough. So let me go ahead and put Get Well Soon here. Is that correct? Is this not? Yeah, that's not quite long enough. So I actually don't have the right size block over here. I should have gotten something that would fit a little bit better, but that will work just fine. Now we're going to be using the basic gray today for our ink. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up and squeegee it over. Okay, so now I'm going to ink this up, and because it's photopolymer, I am going to be using this base, which gives it a little bit more give to it. Our red rubbers, they all have some padding on them, so you don't need this, but when it comes to the photopolymer, you do. So I'm going to go ahead and place this over on the side just a little bit. Make sure it inks up well, make sure it gets onto the paper well, and then go ahead and peel it off. There we go, and we have a beautiful Get Well Soon. Now you can see I left a little bit of extra room on the end, on both the purple and on the white, and I did that so I could create a little banner cut. Now to create a little banner cut, all you want to do is you want to go straight down the middle, and then I'm going to actually just grab my glasses so I can make sure I get this correct. So you want to do a little cut down the middle, and I didn't quite middle it, so I'm going to do that again. And then you want to go in from the sides to where the point is, straight over, and that will give you a perfect banner cut every time, as long as you start in the corner and as long as you have cut in the middle. It's going to give you a perfect cut every time. So I'm going to do that again here. Let me see, do I want to cut that a little bit first? No, that's okay. I'll go ahead and make a cut down the middle again, and then I'm making this one a little bit longer from the side in and from the corner, right at the corner, straight in, and we've got another perfect little banner. So now we can go ahead and put this on here, and we've got this beautiful banner cut sentiment. So I'm going to put the glasses away and go ahead and put a little bit of glue here and on the ends, and then place this right on top of my purple paper like this. And I keep just calling it the purple paper because I'm not sure exactly which one it is. So I'm going to go ahead and look again at the package. It tells you, and it's Highland Heather. So I wasn't sure which one it was, so I wanted to make sure I knew what it was. So what we're going to do then is to go ahead and create a little bow. This is from the Forever Flourishing set suite, and it comes with both the white or the linen and this gold. See, the gold is so pretty, and the gold is a beautiful gold, and it frays really nicely on the ends. So what I'm going to do here is just go ahead and cut this one. And now I'm going to take these and put them together and sort of make a knot right in the middle. Let me see if I can get this. Get a little knot going here with both of them at the same time so that they will stay together. And push this through. There we go. So now we've got the gold and the linen, the off-white linen sort of intertwined. And then what I'm going to do is to take a mini glue dot. I love these mini glue dots. For years and years and years, I didn't use these thinking, why do I need another glue? They're awesome. They're totally awesome. They stick really well. They're really small. You can just peel it right off like that and place it like right on there. Now I'm going to take the card that we just made, And I'm going to put this get well soon here. So I think I'll do it this way. And I'm going to pop it up using some stamping dimensionals. I'm at the end of this, but do you know that you can use every last bit that you get on these? So I'm going to go ahead and take the edge and place it right here in the middle. And you can cut this up too if you don't want as long a strip. But you can use every last bit that you get with these. And then peel this one off and place it. Where do we want to place it? I think I want to place it like here. And look at that. You have an absolutely gorgeous card, and it really took about 5 minutes. It was really fast, and anybody would be so happy to receive this. It's absolutely beautiful. And as you can see, if you just take the ends here and you just tap them, they fray gorgeously. So there you go. There's our first card. Isn't that great? Okay, so I wanted to show you one more card, and the reason I wanted to show you this card is because it's a little bit different. So if I show you this one, remember this is the inside of the paper on the middle. But if I just went ahead and I just cut it, it's cut in the wrong direction if you flip it over, right? So I'm going to show you how you can go ahead and do that, and it will be correct. What you need for this one is you need two different, or two the same, or two different, whatever you want, pieces of paper cut the same. And then you want to put them so that the bottoms, or the outsides are on the outside and the insides are on the inside together. And then what you're going to end up with is two separate cards that work really well together. So I'm going to take these, and again, I'm just going to stick this in here, put a slight little curve there, and I just knocked one off the table. All right, so there's one of them. And then I'm going to, again, rearrange this, put this so that, make sure those are together. There we go. So that the top is thinner than the bottom, and do another cut. And now again, I have these papers. So I have this one here, this one for the middle, and this one for the end. Now what we're going to do here is to use this one with these two outsides. And that's how you're going to do it so that the other side is out. See how easy that is? So now I have a second card where I can flip them all over, and it's going to go in the other direction. And put one more here. So now we have this one we can do going from the top left to the bottom right, and we have this one going from the top right to the bottom left. So what we're going to do here is just go ahead and place these with green glue, with the liquid glue. Again, I have a white base for this one. Don't go in the glue, you silly piece of paper. Not yet. Okay. So now let me go ahead and flip this over and place this one, squeegee it into the right spot, make sure it's all even and good. And now I'm going to take, this is the middle one, and so now I'm again going to take the end one first and go ahead and put some green glue on there, and then liquid glue on there, and then turn it over. We call the green glue, we call it green glue, we call it liquid glue, we call it Tombow glue. You can call it whatever you want. And then this is the middle one, and it's going to go right in the middle like that. So I'm going to put the glue on the other side this time, so that when we flip it over, we have the beautiful pattern from the other side. And there you go, you got that one. So I have the base here, which I've already pre-cut. I'm just going to go ahead and fold it together and put it all together. And I'm going to go ahead and use glue again on the back to adhere it to the card base, which this time is going to be blue. It's the light blue. I think it's balmy blue. Yeah. And put that right here. And you've got the second one. I do have a piece that I'm going to go ahead and stamp with a sentiment. And this is actually cut out from the top of this. So this one, when I cut it down to size, I had to cut a bunch off. And so I decided I'm going to stamp right on here because this is a beautiful piece of paper and there's no reason not to use it. So again, I'm going to grab my Blossoms in Bloom, And this time I'm going to be using, what sentiment am I going to use? Let's see here. Thinking of you. Let's use thinking of you, because everybody needs to be thought of these days with this whole pandemic and not being around everybody we love, which really stinks. So I'm going to go ahead and just ink up again in the gray, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it directly on the piece of paper that was cut off from the other piece. And there you go. Now, what I'm going to do here this time is I'm going to go ahead and adhere it onto one of our Night of Navies with the postage stamp. I love this postage stamp punch. It absolutely makes really cool punches, and it really is a great size. You can use it for all sorts of things, and all sorts of sentiments can get centered on it. So we always turn these over, so you make sure you know where you're punching. Make sure that it punches in the right spot, and you can pull that right out. Now I'm going to take this one and see where I want to cut it, because I did not pre-cut this, just so I could show you. You can do it in all sorts of ways. Let's go ahead and cut that. And we're going to go ahead and, I am not very good at cutting by hand, and I think I did that a little bit wonky. So let's go ahead and use my cutter. I did do it a little bit wonky. Okay, there we go. And now on the other side as well. Although I'm going to leave a little bit extra room there so that we can attach. You can attach some glitter. You can attach some different embellishments, whatever it is you want. And I see that it's a little bit high as well. So let's go ahead and pull this back out and go ahead and cut off here. Make sure, see, this is one of the reasons why I can't wait for my Stampin' Up one, because I would be able to do that better if it was in the Stampin' Up one, because the Stampin' Up one shows you on both sides, and that one I just sort of have to guess. Let's go ahead and see how this works. Beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and place this on here like this. Voila. And now we're going to go ahead again. Let's go ahead and use, I think I'll use the linen again, but this time I'll just cut it off. And I'm going to go ahead and make a knot again, and because these knots look really great anyway. There we go. And I need the glue dot. Just place this right on the glue dot, peel it right off, and place it right on the top. There we go. And now I'm going to use a little bit more of my Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm really getting my money's worth out of those. It's almost done. I've got one more card's worth, and then I'll be done with that. And then I'm going to take this and place it, I think, right here. And there you go, another beautiful card. And we still have enough of these cut off pieces here that we can do one more card. So that's it, but I did want to show you a couple more cards that I had here that I have done using this set, using the designer series paper. So I did a whole bunch of these really fast. This one here, you can see I just cut this piece, which I love, and then I die cut something from the Pine Woods die cuts. This one here is my favorite, as I said. I added some bling here and a season's greeting. That was it. It took me no time at all. This one here, I stamped Thinking of You directly onto the back side of one of these papers. I want to see how that would look. I'm not sure. Next time I might put it onto a piece of paper and cut it out, but I did like framing this with the back side of paper. This one here, I went ahead and I ran it through an embossing folder. So you can see it's got some more texture to it. And then this one here is just got a little bling, Thinking of You, and a little bit of that linen that's popped up. So you can see this designer series paper makes absolutely gorgeous cards, and it's so easy and fast. As I said, we do have a sale right now on designer series papers. It does not include this one that looks like Frost one, but it does include a lot of them. I am waiting, along with my trimmer, I am waiting for a couple of papers. I got a few of them. I got 4 different papers, so I'm really excited by that. Anyway, I hope you had a lot of fun. I hope you learned a little bit something. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up on my video, and that's would really help me out a lot. And also feel free to go and check out my website at stampingfunwithdonna.com. I've got a lot of information there, and I've got some information on some specials and my host code and some classes and some other things there. And if you want to shop with me, you can go straight to www.donnabiderman, DonnaBiderman.stampinup.net. Thanks. See you next time. Bye.